Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormy B-Man, and I am live and on the move. Coming to you with a little bit of a conversation this morning as I am on my commute to my grind. Salute to the mighty LDBC. Good morning, everybody. I hope for those of you who are catching me at this time that you were awakened in your right frame of mind. God has blessed you with another day. Let's make something of it. You know, we're entering another strong fight weekend where we have fights coming from the UK and fights from the US. Some of the fighters are prominent fighters that we know in the sport. In the US, we've got ENNIS making a return to the ring against LIMA. And in the UK, you got DAZN taking on Arslanbek heavyweights. And you know, it's always been a thing where they say, as so go the heavyweights, go the rest of boxing. And because we haven't had a quality heavyweight fight in a few months, it's something to look forward to with the big boys getting in there doing their thing. Salute to Sheriff Deputy Stephen L. the Mac in the building. What's going on with you, brother? Grand rising to you. Good to see you out there this morning. I know that you are quite a workaholic yourself, so you know, salute to you for showing the respect and showing the support that you continue to do on a regular basis, my brother. I hope you're doing well, your family doing well. Yeah, just a little quick live this morning as I'm en route to do what you know, work, huh? Some folks don't know that word, huh? Some folks, that word is like kryptonite to Superman, huh? Yeah, oh, I don't feel good, I can't make it, huh? Yeah, huh? Get out there, throw your hat in that arena, huh? Make some change and stop begging me for mine. Yeah! Anyway, Chris, what's good with you, brother? Good to see you early this morning. Grand risings to you as well. Man, so the heavyweights, as I was just talking about, though these aren't the top guys, huh? I still expect it to be quite entertaining. DAZN is a character, you guys. I have video premiering about this dude, and you guys should definitely check it out because it's kind of humorous. DAZN says he knows the task that's at hand against Arslanbek. He says, I might get KO'd in 3 rounds. I was cracking up laughing when DAZN said that, man, because when he speaks like that, he's not a guy who doesn't understand. He's actually quite intelligent when it comes to the sport of boxing, but he has no fear. He has no sense of false confidence or anything. He knows that this big old dude could get him every bit as well as he may have an opportunity to do the same to Makhmudov. So it's going to be entertaining one way or the other. Dale.Rev out there, what's good with you? Good morning. Grand risings to you as well. So I look forward to some entertainment when it comes to that match. But part of also why I want to do this live is thinking about ENNIS returning to the ring against this young man, LIMA. LIMA is a fighter who is campaigning at the 154-pound division presently. He has fought as high as, I do believe he's gone up to 168 or just in the 168-pound weight class division. So it's not like he hasn't been in with stronger, heavier men. But that IBO title, which he has, there's a reason that Hearn and Matchroom selected this man for Jerron. Now, if you notice, Jerron hasn't made any opportunities come to fruition with named fighters in the division that he came from, which was 147, where there were the likes of Brian Norman Jr. and of course now you have, Devin Haney there. Teofimo Lopez is threatening to campaign there going forward with his future and career. All of names of which were actually presented to ENNIS. And if you just remember, it was a year ago when he was saying he wanted to be undisputed. For whatever reason, Hearn has kind of steered him away from that ideology. And I believe that's because Hearn wants Conor Benn to have an opportunity there. And whether or not he believes that Conor Benn can take on the likes of Boots, or it's just good money to have a stake in that division with one of his own fighters and move Jerron, who could be a threat to someone like Ben, move him out of the way and position Jerron in fights at 154 where the business of boxing can play games. But the Freedom's March, what's good with you? Jose Diaz, good morning to you, brother, and I hope you're doing a little bit better. I hope you're doing better. Yeah, you have to question what Hearn is doing with ENNIS, but it doesn't all fall on Hearn, because if a fighter wants to make a fight, he can press his handlers that, hey, this is what I truly want. Just like Errol Spence did when he pressed to fight Crawford because he wanted to go for undisputed. Sometimes it could be bad business for your handlers if you lose because they put so much stake and stock in you being undefeated instead of you being a crowd pleasing, box office generating fighter. And undefeated records, they really at the end of the day don't mean a lot if you haven't fought your contemporaries or gone into matches that are 50-50 or 60-40. So when you think about Ennis being at 154, the likes of Virgil Ortiz Jr. is there, Jesus Ramos is there, we got Erickson Lubin, there's prominence there. You got guys like Israel Madrimov, Bakram Murtazaliev. There's some tough guys. Tim Tszyu, Sebastian Fundora. So when you think about these guys at that weight class, who do you actually see Jerron Ennis getting in the ring with? If he wanted to make a splash in that division, he could have negotiated a battle between one of those names, not necessarily who holds the belts presently, but against someone who will really, give him some light, some spotlight. That young man from Russia, the Black Russian that I did a video on last week, Abbas Abaru, that's a guy that I believe that if Ennis were to get in the ring with him, it would definitely not be a cakewalk. So I really don't know what Ennis is doing, people. And I give, just on the merit of how he's been carrying himself, I give LIMA more than the average chance in this fight. They're looking at this young man as an opponent. And I think he's like 30, 32, something like that. And I just finished watching that little feature on DAZN that they do when the fighters are leading up to a fight, a day in the life. And that man is training for this fight. He's got nothing but his, I believe is his coach or his manager or something with him. He doesn't have an entourage or anything. And they said something very interesting. They said that when they were asked, what, Junior the Truth, what's good with you, brother? I'm still emulating you, Junior, with my On the Move early in the morning, STORMYBMAN, live, and talking a little bit of boxing before I start my work day. Yeah, a little appetizer, hors d'oeuvre for you brothers and sisters out there to start your day off. But yeah, this LIMA kid, and I watched that program. He looks to be in shape. He doesn't, I mean, this is the thing. Just because you don't know somebody doesn't mean that they're nobody, right? So this could be lining up. And how many times have we seen Hearn take name quality fighters, put them in situations, and the next thing you know, they end up getting upset or something like that, or they be in difficult matches that require Hearn to try to set up a rematch and stuff like that. And remember, he has a title, a small title, albeit, you know, the IBO. Well, guess what? Chris Eubank Jr. has the IBO. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like we're not familiar with guys who do have names, who have a lower stature or regional type title. But I'm here to tell you and to remind you, always leave a window open for opportunity for something to happen that you didn't calculate. Yeah, that's right, Junior. Continental breakfast. Yeah. Eggs Benedict. Yeah. But hey, man, listen. When you think about it, the more that you don't know about LIMA, the more you should be a little bit concerned for Jerron. Because think about how he has been moving. Huh? Not the most, you know, reputable. Not the most tolerant, where you can look at him and say, hey, well, you know, he's doing this, his business, whatever. He's kind of been like a thorn sticking you, where you kind of are questioning where his value is, where his ethic is. He kind of thinks mighty loftily of himself, but he hasn't fought anyone to bring that type of prestige. Yes, he's highly talented. I mean, you know, when I first saw him a few years ago, I had stated, and then I noticed that people started saying it, so I'll take credit for it, because there are more people who watch STORMYBMAN that will allow themselves to admit, particularly not only for what I do and how I've seen my numbers on my channel, but when I'm on Drew Titan's show, shout out to Drew Titan, on Sunday nights in the Strong House, he has hundreds of viewers, particularly depending on what we're talking about on the night, or if there's particular guests on his show. And I've done some of my best work teaming up and collaborating with Drew when we have those shows. And I really enjoy the fact that he has shared, you know, his platform with me to be on there with him. People watch and they hear. And I said about Jerron Ennis years ago, I said he has Roy Jones-like talent. Those were my exact words. And I noticed that people has begun to say certain things about him, mentioning the Roy Jones name. Now, there's a lot that is different about he than Roy Jones, but that fact that he has the fast twitch muscles, and the reflexes that he can throw shots and evade shots and get out of the way and stuff like that. All things that are reminiscent of what Roy used to do in his youth. And he has considerable pop on his punches because speed is power. But he's not knocking guys out with one punch knockout power. That's the thing that you have to also rationalize when you're considering what he does well. But he'll break guys down. And to be perfectly honest, it's not usually a physical breakdown. It's a psychological breakdown because he's hard to hit with his reflexes, getting in and out of the way or range. And he's popping you with stuff and he's showing this speed, and you kind of get frustrated in your mind and you begin to be a little bit, you lose confidence when you're in there with a guy like Jaron Ennis. So he has never been put to task where his fortitude has been challenged. Now, I know that they've talked about him in the gym and how nobody can lay a hand on him in the gym and everything like that. But if you notice when he's fighting in fights, he likes to showboat. He likes to play to the crowd. Sometimes even when it's not necessary. But those are the kind of things that tell me a little bit of something about his personality and his character. In other words, he's operating in a sense of he wants adulation. He wants your approval or whatever, instead of going out there with a different objective in mind to do something to the opponent to be impressive in that regard. The two fights with Karen revealed more than anyone would like to admit. Karen fought him two different ways, and he never solved the puzzle of the guy in either fight. Having gone 24 rounds with a guy who moved the first go around and who took the fight to you in the second, and you still didn't solve that situation. Adjustments are a very important and integral part of boxing when you are at the elite level. Whom has Jaron fought that's elite? And I'll wait for that response. Yeah. Jose Diaz says, yes, Lima, he's very serious about the boxing. Yeah, you know, and I just said this, like, even about Abbas Abaru. When I watched him fight against Yoenis Tellis, and I didn't know the guy, and Tellis was a guy that they were trying to, you know, build up and position and angle for the title shot, because, you know, they were battling for the vacant WBA title that was taken from Terrence Crawford when he entered his fight against Canelo. And that eliminator bout was really the opportunity for them to move Tellis further in the sport and position him for a title. Well, guess what? Abaru said, not today, not on my watch. And he stole the thunder from Tellis and beat him up during the process. And that's the type of fight, well, why didn't Jaron Ennis fight Tellis? Why didn't he fight Abaru or whatever? He didn't put himself or angle himself for something like that, and you have to question those things. Now, Virgil Ortiz Jr., he has had some issues health-wise and everything, and he's also had, from what they're explaining, some hand injuries and stuff like that. So there are reasons that he hasn't fought, but you could at least say that he's been in there against Sergey, and he's been in there against Madrimov. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't think he won the Sergey fight, but he did win very convincingly against Madrimov, and I salute him for that. So he's in there giving as good as he gets with the opposition that he's in there with. But Jaron Ennis is not facing even that type of opposition. Royal Constrictor, salute. Good morning to you. So as we look at this, I'm trying to suggest that you may want to give just a little more leeway and room for an opportunity for Lima. And I'm telling you, if he does, for whatever reason, happen to upset ENNIS, or if he just happens to put on a great showing, people are gonna come down on ENNIS when you should really be lighting the fire under his feet to begin with anyway, simply because he hasn't been moving correctly. He has not. And at the end of the day, boxing is a what have you done for me lately business. It's really that simple. And I'm telling you, 154 is not a desert, people. It's a forest with all types of trees to be chopped down, huh? That's why when they were talking about Mel Charlo claiming that it's his division and he's coming back and everything, and I'm like, sir, you're 35, and a lot of these guys are in their mid to late 20s and just turning 30, and they will turn you out. It's okay to reminisce on what once was, but time waits for no one, and it has passed you by. You know, and that's not like me stabbing at Mel, but I'm speaking facts. There are men who are hungry out there in the sport of boxing presently that are not just hungry for a bag, Mel Charlo. They are hungry for status, acknowledgement, legacy. They want to prove something to the world. They want to prove something to their detractors. They want to prove something to themselves. And when a fighter enters the realm of boxing with that type of disposition, it's not easily conquerable. And you have to take in consideration what a fighter brings. Hunger is a really, really strong, mindset or disposition. Hunger is something. And men who have hunger, that is always measured against what their output is, what they're going for. What is ENNIS going for? Like I said, a year ago, he was talking about being undisputed. Funny how Brian Norman Jr. steps up with that wonderful performance against Giovanni Santillan, and then goes on to have his outstanding win on the road in another country against Jin Sasaki, and all of a sudden ENNIS is like, who actually said, oh, I got a nutritionist now, I don't have a problem with 147 or whatever. He's like, oh, they advised me, you know, I should move up and get out. Man, the advisement is watch out for Brian Norman Jr. and any of those young hungry fighters that are in that weight class, because they're not gonna sit back and let you just do what you want to do and play these games, huh? Nobody cares that you came from Philly. And that knockout against Jin Sasaki is kind of a deceptive thing, because who the hell was Jin Sasaki before he got knocked out by Norman Jr.? Norman just did what a world-class fighter is supposed to do: show separation. When's the last time ENNIS has fought a guy like that? When? Black Preacher Man, salute to you. Good morning. Freedom's March, what's happening? So what I'm saying is, look at the fighters that Jaron has been facing, and look at where they came from. At 147, and you saw him in that footage where he was sparring with the photos rather that he took being in camp with Canelo, didn't he look kind of big? But he was bringing guys up to 147 who had been down 135 and 140, bringing them up to 147 to fight him. There were fighters that were smaller than he, and he didn't blast all of them out of there. He did not. And I'm gonna tell you something. He seemingly only wants to fight out of Philly. Do you think he would have gone to Japan to face Jin Sasaki? That's a question I'm posing to everybody that's in the chat right now. It says we got 9 heads out there. Do you guys think that Ennis would have gone to Japan to face Jin Sasaki? Can you answer that question for me, please? Man, I'm driving behind somebody who's smoking some weed. It's like you having weed for breakfast, bro. Seriously. It's 6:20 in the morning over here where I'm at in the Chi, and you driving down the street smoking weed for breakfast. The day ain't even really got going yet for most people, and you out here high already. See, this is the kind of foolishness that I be talking about, that I said, hey, you can't match wits with the witless. Foolishness. Okay. Dale Real says nope. Jose says yes. Convos with Cam. Good morning with you. I didn't see you if you wrote in the chat before now. She says, I don't think so. Salute to you, Convos with Cam. Hey, you got those fingers on those keys, huh? That's all good stuff. I wish that I could play a musical instrument. I really do. Because STORMYBMAN can't sing to save his life. But I wish I could play an instrument because I got music in my soul. I really do. I love music. I got to get back to doing my Beats with Sugar show too, but that'll only be on Patreon where I can play the music that we like. So if you guys, want that kind of content from me, you can sign up for my Patreon and I will produce more Beats with Sugar, because that's an outstanding show right there. An outstanding show. And I know that I have my man, the Underrated Darkness, doing that show with me, but I'm thinking about expanding the guests on that show with me, that I could bring various people in and we could talk about the music and play the music and critique the artists and everything. So I'm looking to do that going forward on Patreon with my show Beats with Sugar. Yeah, so as I'm speaking about Ennis, so some of you believe that he would have gone to Japan, and some don't. Well, they done closed the street off where I gotta go. Oh man, I gotta take a different route. Anyway, what I wanted to say, you guys, no, he would not. He would not have gone to Japan. You can't get his ass out of Philly. You can't. And Hearn don't fool me. Hearn is like, oh, well, we could build him up in Philly, build his fan base. The dude got 30 fights. What the fuck are you talking about? 30 fights. And he's just going to continue to be a big fish in a small pool, a backyard pool at that. And then you want to use the excuse, oh, we threw an offer at this person and we threw an offer at that person, but nobody wants to fight him. They turned down XYZ. They don't want to come and fight in his backyard, in his kiddie pool for scraps, for peanuts, when they could go elsewhere. There's people making money. Look at what Turkey had to tell him. I don't do tune-ups. Let Hearn do that for you. Think about that a moment, people. Turkey, who has been throwing coins around to change these guys' lives like nothing. And these dudes like Jerron, he wants that and to be at home in his backyard where he could walk out of his back door into the ring. Get the hell out of here with that foolishness. You know? And I'm going to tell you something. People can get upset about that and be like, oh man, you going in on Jerron Ennis or whatever. Man, get out of your damn feelings. I'm talking about the sport of boxing. And like people have been known to say, boxing is a business, right? Well, why is he doing such shitty business? Huh? He wanted to face Norman Jr. in his backyard, huh? With the grass fresh cut and pay him peanuts and want the man to fight with his title on the line and everything aligned to him. He didn't want to give up anything, but both of them are world titleists. Where they do that at? You know, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time. Get the hell out of here with the foolishness, bro. And the thing about it is, he's not a bad fighter. He's not. But we don't know and won't know how good he is if he won't get in there and test himself. And that's the problem with him. Yeah. Dritch Richardson, what's good? Ravens Nation, good morning to you as well. Dale.Rib says, sounds like the AJ story all over again. Yeah, but there's something different about this because AJ was homegrown. You know, he was a UK British fighter. Ennis is not. And I'm going to tell you something. If you think that Hearn is going to take care of Ennis as he would one of his own homegrowns, you got another thing coming. Because that's not what's going to happen. It's not. Jose Diaz says, the word for that is coward. Yeah, I agree. Big time. Black Preacher Man says, you're speaking facts. Hey, listen, man, it's so evident, right? And the thing is, if you love the sport, and we say this all the time, you hear all of us as a part of the community that I'm a part of, we talk about if you love the sport, love it from inside out, outside in, all through and through. I want to see that man in quality matches. I want to see him in against competitive people because there's talent there and there's a surface that he's existed on, but there's no depth. There's no sense of layers where we say, okay, he came through. He did something there. Oh, he overcame this. Oh, he took a solid shot from that puncher or this or that. We haven't seen any of that. It's been his dance floor. It's been his song, and you have to do his movements. Get the hell out of here with that shit, man. That's why I asked you about when I spoke of Norman Jr. going to Japan, because after that fight with Santillan, he deserved the easy touch, didn't he? But the thing is, what he ended up doing was he went out of his element, a title that he just acquired. He didn't know what they were going to do over there in Japan. He had never been over there in Japan before, but he went over there and took an opportunity and he increased his brand. And I had said that to anybody that watches my content, because they were trying to make a deal with Ennis before Norman Jr. went over there, and they had said, okay, well, we'll negotiate on this when we get back. I had said, when they get over there into Japan, Yesterday's price won't be today's price. And he's going to go over there. If he has a great performance and everything, that's really not going to bode well for ENNIS, because now you have to negotiate at a different price for the outstanding performance that he put on. And then you have to take into consideration that his stature is growing, you know? So these are the kind of things. And what did ENNIS do? Like a week before the fight or the week of the fight or something, he moved up to 154. Man, if that wasn't some bull crap, I'd never know what is. It's like, you know, and the thing is, these are the moves he's making. Nobody, and why was everything that Hearn's saying different from what he was saying when they talk to the media? Just like everything his dad is saying differs from what he's saying. I'm gonna tell you guys something. He come up in the gym with his brothers and everything, and his dad is right there. But let me ask you guys this question right here, and you can answer this one like you did about the fact that I said, do you think he would have went to Japan? Is he one of the few men who have come up around and with his dad but still have these effeminate ways? What the fuck is that? What is that? A man stands on merit. Now, I'm not blaming Bozy. I'm not. But Jerron is his own man, right? Is he coddled? Is he spoiled? What the fuck is that? Why is he moving like a female? Why? He's got men in his life. His brothers, his dad. But you don't see Mason behaving like that. You don't see Haney behaving like that. You don't see Norman Jr. behaving like that. You don't see T.O. behaving like that. T.O. behaves in a different way, but that's all because his upbringing is totally, you know, whatever, man. It's a different subject. But Jerron Ennis is moving like a female, man. He really is. That shit he said about he didn't watch Crawford and Canelo, dude, even if you did watch it, didn't watch it or whatever, you don't have to say nothing. You don't have to say a damn thing. What's the old adage? If you can't say something good about somebody, don't say nothing at all. Did your daddy teach you that? Women do that shit. Look at her shoes. She thinks she cute. Oh, she think that hairstyle is... I look better than her. I wore that dress better than she did. Effeminate bullshit. Hey, Canelo, can I come and train with you? I can help you get ready for Crawford. A lot of good that did, didn't it? Canelo got his ass whooped. Huh? All over the place. You bringing bad juju around people, and I'm going to tell you guys something. We're seeing a repeat of bad juju. Did AJ not bring bad juju to Derek James and his gym? Huh? Ryan Garcia, bad juju to Derek James and his gym. That whole environment fell apart. See, sometimes you got to turn down more than your collar. People don't want to hear that, though. They don't want to hear that. No. If your dad raised you and you were right there with him and everything, there should be elements of him impacting your life. Why are they on two different pages? So much. Over so much. There's something to be said about that, people. And I bet you ain't never heard nobody else mention that right there, right? So STORMYBMAN come out here and I have these talking points. If you hear somebody else say something, then you know where it came from. I pointed out he moving awfully strange. And he ain't on the same page as his promoter or his dad. What is he really representing out here? We got Junior the Truth in there, in the chat. Now, Junior is a man that he was raised by his dad. He often give us stories about him and his dad and everything. And the thing about it is, he's a dad. You always hear him talking about his own children. He's very impactful, and that was passed down. It don't happen by osmosis, but I can bet you that what I'm saying right here, right now, resonates because men are supposed to move differently. And that doesn't mean that you can't be respectful and everything. Look at Bud Crawford, the respect that he showed Canelo, giving his belts back in victory, not gloating and clowning him. He showed class. You know why? Because when you show class, it separates you from the non-class, huh? It elevates you. And those are the kind of things people need to take into consideration. Yeah. So with that being said, you guys, like I said, Lima, give him a chance. I'm not saying he's upsetting this guy, but if there's an opportunity for the proverbial banana peel to be slipped upon, be watching for it. I got to get out of here, family. I wish I could keep it going, but I will be passing the baton to whomever's out there coming up soon. So this is Stormy B Man. I want to say shout out to the mighty LDBC, and I hope you guys have a blessed one. We'll catch you later today for the Tuesday Tussle. Peace. Have a great day.